Hi, my name's Al and today I'm going to show you how to service the air can on your RockShox Monarch shock. There's a few bits and pieces that you're going to need that you might not normally have in your toolbox. You need some Maxima 15 weight 50 oil for the air can. You need a tiny little syringe for the oil. You can get one of those from the chemist. You need some RockShox dynamic seal grease. It's the stuff that they recommend. You need the right seal kit for your shock. A pick for said seal kit. Some isopropyl alcohol. And some clean paper towels. Before you start any suspension work, it's a good idea to make sure that you've got a really clean working environment. It's also important to wear some gloves to protect your hands and some glasses to protect your eyes. Now before you try and take any suspension apart, you also need to make sure that there's no air inside the shock. So if we press the valve, we can release all the air. Now you can see that we've got the shock mounted into this workmate. You could use a vise or even just leave your shock mounted in the top shock mount of your frame. With all the air out, we're safe to take the air can off now. So we've taken the O-ring off the shaft, and as a safety measure, we're just going to shove a rag through the eyelet here. And if there is any pressure in the shock, then the can can't blow off the end. So we should be able to unscrew the can by hand. If not, you can use a strap wrench or wrap a piece of inner tube around the can. With this particular shock, we've got a debonair air sleeve, so it is possible for the outer sleeve to rotate. So try and hold the can at the bottom. If you do use a strap wrench, use it nearer the bottom and you'll be more likely to get it undone. But this is coming off easy. There we go. Safe to remove your rag and pull the air can free. So now we're ready to remove the seals. Some of the seals you'll have to remove with a pick. One of those is hidden in the top here. Now if you're not replacing the seals, this one for instance, you might want to just leave in place, because to be fair, it's probably not damaged anyway. Just hook it out and you can go ahead and replace it. When you do use a pick though, be super careful, because if you scratch anything, then there's a chance that you'll create an air leak, and that's going to give you more problems. The other seals you can remove by hand most of the time. And this is the main air seal here. Now you should be able to remove that by pinching it and giving yourself a little bit of slack to roll it off its seat. That's come off with one of the bushing rings. There's two of those and they're split, so they're nice and easy to get off. Once you've removed the seals from here, you can go ahead and clean it with some fresh paper towels and some alcohol. Get it really spotless. With the air can, it's a similar deal. You've got a wiper seal in here which just pulls out by hand, and you have two bushing rings and an air seal at the end of the can which you'll need to pick out. To take the air can itself apart, there's an O-ring on this end which if you pinch you'll be able to remove, and with that off you can separate the air can. That's just on a debonair. On a regular air sleeve you won't have to do that. So you can replace these three O-rings or just inspect them, grease them up well, refit them, pop it back together. So everything's beautifully clean and we're ready to either fit our seals which we've inspected or new seals. Everything that you fit has to have a good coating of grease. So we've already put the air can back together. We're just popping these main seals onto the shock itself. Make sure they're not rolled over or twisted or anything, and that they're seated properly. Whack plenty of grease on there. Fit the little green bumper. Same with the air can. Plenty of grease on those seals, and a bit on the threads as well. And then we can slide that into place. Make sure you don't trap any of the seals as you slide it over. And then we're going to need a bit more force to screw the air can back on. Before we screw the air can all the way on, we need to pop a small amount of oil into the air can, and I do mean small. We're talking 0.3 mil. So you'll need a tiny syringe and just squirt that into the can straight on top of the piston. To make this next bit easier, set your compression to the minimum and rebound to maximum. And we're going to compress the shock as far as we can to make it easier to start screwing the air can home. Once it's started, it's not going to go anywhere. Screw it in all the way till it stops, and you just tighten that by hand. You don't need any tools. So just give the shock a good wipe down with some alcohol and some paper towels. Make sure it's nice and clean, and then we can pump it up to our desired pressure. Once you've got it inflated, just a case of refitting the dust cap, sliding the O-ring onto the shaft, refitting any hardware that you removed to take it from the bike, refitting it, and hitting the trails. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheers.